Hi, Starpots here from Dreamweavers, and this is part 2 of coping with caring and connection during this stay-at-home times and beyond. This video will really be talking about concrete actions. So first I want to talk a little bit about care, and what is care? I heard this great definition recently from Michelle Johnson. She and Carrie Kelly have an organization called Race and Resilience. And she talks about care is creating culture and conditions where people have what is needed to thrive on their own terms. And on their own terms is a really big part, especially if we're wanting to be of service in a way that we're connected. So helping is not from a place of doing for, but doing with, as in our destinies are intertwined. There is a famous quote, "If you have come here to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come here because you know your liberation is bound with mine, then let us work together." That's an Aboriginal activist quote from the 1970s. You know, many Indigenous teachers have brought forward the invitation of this time to create a new world as this one is getting rearranged. And it's showing up in bold relief where there are inequities in our system. And so we have an opportunity to create something different. Tara Brach poses these questions as we consider what we're creating, and I would just offer them to you to think about. Who do you want to be? What is this new world? What is your aspiration, which may come to you in words, in an image, in a feeling? And to really take some time to think about that and consider as we go further how you want to play that out. I would add Carrie Kelly's question as we look at mutual aid. It's about taking risks. What are we willing to risk to share our resources? And that's going to be a different answer for everyone. There are no right answers or formulas, but really feeling into what feels right to each of us. So before acting, just to reflect back, get your feet under you. Get your own fears in hand. You can't be with the heaviness or sorrows without space for love. And if you can act from a grounded place, then there really needs to be, in order to do that, there needs to be a sense of connecting to what really uplifts, so that you can carry that through not only for yourself, but for whomever you interact with. So the best way to do this is to have your own practices and to practice savoring your blessings. So to uplift the mind, we need to stay with a positive, whatever it might be, for 15 to 30 seconds, which is roughly about 3 breaths. So if you see something that really feels good to you, pause and take 3 breaths and just let it expand in you so that it gets a little bit bigger. And this, if you can just be with it just a little bit longer in this way, your system will start to settle into that, and that'll become one of those things that uplifts you. It's a concrete way to access the greater healer, which actually is gratitude. So once you've done that, then we can look at our external actions. So I wanted to just share a few examples for you, from my own observations, and a lovely list of 31 items that was compiled by Jen Lemon. You can find that whole list on the www.thepathofdevotion.com. And as you listen to this, remember, the people who fare best take some kind of action that counteracts helplessness and freeze and contributes to something bigger than themselves. Find what works for you. It's a personal decision, and there are lots of options and lots of ranges based on your risk tolerance and your life circumstances. So here are some that you can think about, and hopefully they'll spur you to think about others. Go next door and say to your neighbor, "If you need anything, I'm here, just call." Call your hairdresser if you're not coming in like usual and ask them how they're doing, and maybe send them the tip that you would have normally given them. Call your local Black Lives Matter chapter and ask them where you can bring supplies or cash for mutual aid efforts. Research mutual aid and get familiar with it, what it is, and think about how you could be with that. You know, in my neighborhood, I live with a lot of woods around, and I've seen people that are going along on their walks and picking up trash. So it can be as simple as something like that, where you're contributing to your community and your environment. Check on a friend with cancer. Listen as long as they'll talk. Reach out to friends of Asian descent. Say, I appreciate you. I'm here for you if you need anything. And if you're Asian, let somebody know what's happening for you if it feels like things are difficult. Let a safe person know so that you can get support. Organize your cabinets. Realize there's more there than you realized, and maybe feel the gratitude of having all that, and then give away what you don't need. We live with so much, and maybe there are some people that could really make good use of it. You could give away something every day if you wanted to take that on as a practice. Write a letter. You know, it's a lost art. So maybe you could send a letter that, we won't always be here. So leaving a letter that tells somebody how you feel and that you care for them can be a way of really exchanging something. You could do like one of my friends does in Virginia. She passes out lunches to school kids. She gets involved with her local charity that does that. Or make sure that kids have reading materials. Kids are, a lot of kids are out of school now, and not all of them have access to the electronics that puts them in connection with their school. Patronize local restaurants for takeout. A lot of businesses are suffering, so see what you can tolerate and patronize them. If you go to a store, a grocery store, or you go to a healthcare setting, acknowledge the store owner or the people that are stocking the shelves. Acknowledge the healthcare workers and thank them for taking the risks to be there for you. It's a big risk, and it's really important to acknowledge that. Throw your weight behind anyone that's willing to take on difficulty for the well-being of the collective. First responders, hospital workers, public health officials, anybody that's out there doing something. Let them know that they matter. And the last thing I'll leave you with, and this list is by no means exhausted, it's just a jumping off point that hopefully will stimulate some thoughts for you, is to make room for joy. Because as we said earlier, if you're not coming from that base of that there are many things, even in the midst of a fearful state, that actually can be, you can be grateful for, and we can even be joyful about, then you're not seeing the whole picture, and that joy will help you out of survival physiology. And that's really what you want to be able to share with the world. So I hope these thoughts have stimulated some action possibilities for you. And I wish you well, and I am glad that you've listened this far and that you're a part of this global community. Until the next time, wishing you well. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay connected. Bye-bye.